Big news out of the UIL Legislative Council meeting earlier this month as Dr. Charles Breithaupt, the executive director of the UIL, announced the 2024-2025 academic year would be his last. A guy who's been a mainstay there at the UIL. And here to talk about it, why not get it directly from him himself? We're pleased to be joined by the executive director of the UIL, Dr. Charles Breithaupt. Dr. B, it's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Greg. It's good to always talk to you. We've had some great conversations. Most of those are at football championships or some other time, a realignment, but this is a different scenario, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you here for a minute, and I guess the word is probably congratulations. But I know, just knowing you and in conversations we've had over the years, that this decision has to be relatively bittersweet for you. Is that correct?
Well, I think that is the appropriate way to say it. I'm saddened to leave a job that I've loved so much for the last 33 years, the last 15 as executive director. I love the coaches and I love the kids and I love what we do. I think it's appropriate for Texas to have a governing body that's made up of school administrators who care about the activities and support those financially. And through their rules and through their adjudication of the rules, we have, I think, the best league in the United States for amateur sports. And that word amateur is tentative, of course, as we always talk about. But I would tell you that, yeah, that is bittersweet. But knowing that we're in great hands, the fact that we have a stable of employees that are committed to the work and continuing what's going on in the UIL world, I'm very confident that it's going to continue to thrive. And I just felt like it was time. 50 years in public education is enough. I felt like I could go 10, 15 more years physically and perhaps mentally. But I think the COVID year took maybe 5 years off of my tenure. I think it did for all of us. It really hampered us. But at the same time, it's time for fresh voices and fresh news and fresh ideas. And I like what I've been able to do through the years and some of the things we've accomplished through the coaches associations and through our colleagues across the country. I feel very fortunate to have been given this opportunity to work at the UIL for this length of time.
You mentioned you've been the executive director there for the last 15 years. And when I kind of think over your tenure here, it strikes me just the amount of change that has happened just in the Breithaupt era. Is when you take a look at the UIL and the UIL that you inherited in 2009 as executive director and the one that you're at right now, is it almost unrecognizable to you how much things have changed in that span?
Greg, it really is difficult to express how different it is because of the changes in the number of schools we have. Number one, when I came in, we had 1,100 schools back in 1992. We have over 1,600 now. That's different. And the fact that being a traditionalist and being schooled and doing this way because this is the way we've done it since 1910, why would we want to change something that's worked so well? I think breaking down some of those barriers was done because of social media, the fact that news travels fast. And who thought we would be streaming football games during the playoffs on Friday night? Who thought we would ever be having live broadcasts outside of just those two games that we used to do on a Saturday for the 5A D1 and D2 games. So yeah, the game's changed a lot, but I think it's for the better. I think that parents are able to buy in now and have an opportunity to see their child participate. I think we give more chances for teams to win state championships, and I think that's only good. Standing on the way it's always been done is not always the right idea.
When you take a look at this is going to be tough to answer, I recognize. But when you take a look over the course of your tenure here, especially as executive director, but even just going back, 33 years, 35 years with the UIL, is there something that you're most proud of? Is there something that you and your team and the UIL was able to accomplish or navigate that you take a lot of pride in?
Greg, I would have to say the number one thing for me would be the common site for state football championships. We work really hard with the Coaches Association and working with our football coaches and trying to work that out. And it came to fruition. Nothing that I did. It's just it fell into place. And I'm so proud of the work that everyone did to make that happen. D.W. Rutledge and Joe Martin and our staff, we have something now that the rest of the world is envious of us because of the fact that we can get 250,000 people in a facility for a weekend and watch 12 games of high school football, from the smallest six-man schools to the largest 6A schools. And I think that's incredible. To be able to include our six-man schools in that, I think just seal the deal for everyone. And it's been a dynamic product, and I'm really most proud of that.
I do want to talk a little bit more about your retirement, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the other news to come out of the Legislative Council meeting, which was the decision to split divisions in sports like soccer and basketball, volleyball, et cetera, to do Division I and Division II, like we see in football. We're used to seeing that in football. It's going to be a big change for these other sports. And you're a basketball guy. You're a state champion basketball coach, so it's going to impact that as well. Uh, can you talk us through essentially why this was the right move at the right time?
Great question. And I will tell you that I was one of those opposed to any change in that format. I was pounding the podium to say, we can't do this for basketball and baseball and softball. We can't do that for the team sports that play double round robin district championship series. We can't do that because of the travel. There's no way possible for us to do that. So after a while of saying no, I mean, there's 100 ways to say no, correct?
Hmm.
But can you find 100 ways to say yes? And Dr. Harris and I, over the December holiday period, just said, why can't we do this? Why not give it a chance? And we don't have to keep doing the same thing. Maybe we can do finals only. And my script all along has been, why can't we do it like 6A football? It won't cost anyone any more money. The districts stay sacrosanct. We do it the same way with the number of playoff teams that come out. It's 4. The 2 largest go to Division I. The next 2 go to Division II. There's 6 rounds of the playoffs. You match your games, and we'll see you at the Alamo Dome or wherever the state championships are being held. And you know what? I think everyone that we talked to as we went along the road of talking to our coaches association said, why not? I had a few say, why now? And that was a great question you asked me. And I said, we're not rushing this. We've waited 34 years. We started this in football in 1990, and basketball's been asking for it ever since. And we told him no, and I was one of the leaders of that because of travel, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a beautiful animal. It's going to have some things that pop up that people say, I wish we had the regional tournaments back, or wish we had finals and semifinals at the state tournaments. But overall, who's not for 264 team brackets? Doubles your chance to win a state championship and one less game to play. And I think that's good for all.
And finally, Dr. Breithaupt, I do have to ask you about that. By announcing that the 2024-2025 academic year is going to be your final year, that means that you do realize that the next year, everywhere you go, people are going to be, putting up banners, and it's going to be Dr. Breithaupt Day everywhere you go. Are you prepared for the festivities that are about to follow you for the next year?
Well, I'm hoping there are not any, to be honest with you. I don't want to just slip quickly out the door. I did this early so that the university would have plenty of time to get a replacement. And there's no secret that I support Dr. Jamie Harrison for the role. I don't get to make that decision. The University of Texas president makes that decision, and they'll do a great job. They always have. I mean, I know they failed when they hired me, but they'll get it right this time. And I really support Jamie, and I support him because I know he will take care of the rest of the staff. We have a tremendous team. We've always had good people, but we really have a special team right now. And I hope that would continue. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things that we're looking at, not just this 2 championship concept for all the team sports, but just other things that are around the corner, NIL, portal stuff that will come up in the legislature, all those things that have to be dealt with. Plus, what changes do we make to realignment in the next go round? What does that look like? Would it look like what we have in 5A and below football for all these team sports? So there is a lot for someone who's coming in to do that. And I think that needs fresh new eyes.
He's Dr. Charles Breithaupt. He is the executive director of the UIL. Dr. B, we certainly appreciate your time. I will say congratulations on your impending retirement, but I know there's still work to do. But we certainly appreciate your time today, sir.
Thank you, Greg, and appreciate all the work you've done to support high school athletics across the board throughout the years. And we've become good friends because of that. We don't get to see each other very much, but when we do, it's always a special time. Thank you very much.